Hi, boys and girls. This is the third video I'm posting today. We did a science earlier with the balloon, and then I read chapters 12 and 13 of Edward's Lane, and now we're just going to do a little bit of math. So, I put up here two problems that we have done a little bit. I'm going to show you two different ways, review two ways that we can solve these. The first way being repeated addition, the second way being the break apart strategy. So let's start with break apart, and then we will move to the repeated addition. All right, you should be doing these on your whiteboard as I do them. So I'm going to give you, should we do 10? Let's do 10 seconds for you to be ready with your marker and your whiteboard. Or if you don't have your whiteboard close, just use paper. Okay, so 10. Okay, we ready? All right, so our first problem is 24 times 3. That would be 3 groups of 24. So think of maybe 3 classrooms, and each classroom has 24 students. So how many students would that be in all? We're going to use break apart first. So I'm going to rewrite it over here. And you should know that we're going to break apart 24 because it's the larger number. So I'm going to break it into 20 because that's not a 2. That's actually the place of 20. 20. Keep your group size the same, times 3, plus, now that is a 4. It's not 40 because it's in the ones place, so that is a 4. Keep your 3 the same. All right, 20 times 3, you know if it's a 10, we're going to just drop that 0. Remember, just put that 0 down. And then we say 2 times 3. 2 times 3, 6, right? So we get 60 plus 4 times 3. I would hope by now maybe you know that one by memorization, 12. And we add 60 plus 12. I remember Rhodes knows, he knows these quick. So add our 10, 60 plus 10 is 70, 0 plus 2 is 2, 72. So 24 times 3 equals 72. Let's do it as repeated addition. Change my marker. So I'm going to do it right here on the side. So I'm going to add 24 3 times. So let's count by 4. Ready? Let's do it together so you can do it at home. 4, 8, 12. So I'm going to go to 12. There's my 12 to 12. Now let's count by 2 together. Ready? 2, 4, 6 plus 1 is 7. We get the same answer, 72. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next one. We have 18 times 4. So we're going to do break apart first. 18 times 4. I'll bet Peyton knows how to break apart 18. What do you think, Peyton? I can kind of hear Peyton. I hear her. And I hear her saying, let's break it into 10 and 8. You are right, Peyton. So I'm going to say 10 and 8. And I know Kira knows what we are multiplying each by, because we're going to keep that smaller number the same. So Kira, we're multiplying each by 4. Very good. And I'll bet by now Alondra knows when we multiply by a 10, we're just going to drop that 0. So 1 times 4 is, what do we get, Alondra? 40. Very good. All right. Ooh, now this is kind of a harder math problem that you may have memorized by now, I would hope. I bet Briella knows it. 8 times 4, Briella. I hear Briella. Yes, 32. Good job. 32. All right. Now, we're going to add these together. 40 plus 32. Let's have somebody else think about this one. Mariah, I'll bet you're thinking 40 plus 32. 40 plus 30 is 70. 0 plus 2 is 2. Good job, Mariah. 72. Hey, look at that. We're getting the same answer, aren't we? All right, so over here we're going to do repeated addition. So Carter, we're going to write which number 4 times? Yep, we're going to write 18 4 times. Add it. Let's count by 8s, everyone. 8, 16, 24, 32. Now, this is tricky, 32. So I'm going to say 32. So you see I put the 2 in the ones place, and I've brought the 30 over to the tens. So now I count my ones. 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 3. 4, 5, 6, 7. And I get 72. Same answer. I didn't plan that, but it's kind of funny how it worked out, huh? Didn't plan it. Okay, so we had, last time we met for math, we looked at fraction number lines. So let's do a quick little practice of that. Okay, so I'm going to draw a number line. All right, and I'm going to do it slowly so that you can draw it too in the separate steps that I use. So make our line all the way across. You got to keep up with me just like we do in school. All right, we're going to make our end tick marks, which we always want to call 0 in 1 hole. Now, I'm going to put the other tick marks in, and then I want you to label with the fractions, okay? So, if you label all of the tick marks correctly, good job, okay? If you end up labeling with the wrong denominator, that's okay. You'll just need to fix it, okay? So if you're on your marker board, you just erase the denominator, okay? If you're on paper, just X it off and write the correct one above it, all right? So when I put the tick marks in, you are going to need to figure out what is the denominator, all right? So just like if I drew this, if I drew that, you would automatically know that the denominator is 3 because there's 3 total parts. So when I put the tick marks in, you'll need to figure out the denominator by counting the parts. Okay? Everybody got it? Here we go. Okay, now put those tick marks in. Count how many tick marks I put in. Space them out just like I did. I'm going to give you a minute to put those tick marks in and write your fractions. So I'm going to go get a drink. I'll be back in a few seconds, and we're going to go over the fractions you wrote. All right, how did you do? Did you get the right denominator? Okay, the numerator should have been easier, all right? So let's put the numerator in first. And if you did the numerator first, you probably then could get the denominator pretty easily, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and make my line that separates my fractions. By the time you got to this one, to the 1 whole, then you should have known the denominator for all of them. So let's count the numerator as we go through. The numerator. Ready? If this is 0, then my numerator is 0. So, you know, we've been counting since preschool. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now, if we wrote 6 as the numerator here, in order to make 1 whole, how many total parts would there be? 6 Wyatt, remember? If the numerator is 6, what would the denominator have to be? Yes, you are right, 6. Because we want our numerator and denominator to be the same. So 6, 6. That would mean all of these have to be 6. So let's count as I write. 0, 6, 1, 6, 2, 6, 3, 6, 4, 6, 5, 6. All right. Now, some of you might have found the denominator by counting the parts, which works also. So if we count the parts, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 6 spaces equals 6. Okay. Some of you might have counted the tick marks in between. So in between the 0 and the 1, how many tick marks? So you might have counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 tick marks equals 6. Because you make 5 lines for 6 parts. Right? Okay, and that's just a review practice of number lines. Remember, the last time we met, I talked to you about using the dice and rolling. So if I rolled a 4, I could make a number line with 4 parts and then write fourths above it. Okay. If you have somebody in your house that you could play with, they could roll the dice, see who has bigger parts. Okay. Just compare your fractions. Okay. All right, so that's your 3rd video for a Monday. You don't have to watch them all today. So remember, send me a video, send me a comment, send me something if you have something you want to say about the science video, this math video, or the Edward Tulane chapter. I'd love to know that you are watching these and doing some learning at home. Plus, I just like to know what you're thinking. So please share something. I would love to hear from you. Talk to you later.